I think I found it. The worst movie ever made. Spoilers. Hello, welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Khaleel Ward. On this episode, I'll be talking about a Hulu movie called Prey. No, not that Prey. That Prey was good. That Prey was great. There's another movie named Prey on the same streaming service. And it might be one of the worst movies ever made. It, it's the worst movie I've watched doing this channel. It's worse than Last Man Down. That's a Netflix movie. If I remember, I'll leave the link in the description for that review. That one was terrible on Netflix. Prey 2024 is worse than that. It doesn't matter who's in the movie. It's just a bad movie. I'm going to spoil a lot of things about this movie because nothing really happens. It's classified as an action thriller. None of that exists in this movie. It's just a movie. That's it, with people in it. We follow this couple. They are on a Christian missionary trip or something like that. He's a doctor. I'm assuming she's a teacher because when we meet her, she's teaching children. Anyway, the doctor is upset because he lost a patient or whatever. So, you could see the frustration because he didn't get some supplies. They tell him, hey, Boko is coming. And I guess that's like the militia gang leader or whatever. You just hear his name. And he's like, all right, we got to go. So he goes to the wife. The wife is like, oh my God, we got to get the kids back. Do you think it's really that bad? And he's like, we have to go. So they leave and they end up at this airfield waiting for the pilot. And we see some other people there that eventually join in with them. So the pilot comes and the pilot is like a douchebag. He's like, hurry up. We don't got time. And everybody's like, okay, we're ready. He's like, no luggage. And then the doctor's like, hey, you got space for my wife and I, they said it'd be whatever, 6,000. He's like, it'll be 25,000 each or whatever. They all get on this rinkety CGI plane because it's not a real plane. It's so tiny. And they fly like 30 minutes and they crash. And I forgot, this is in Africa. My bad, I forgot to mention it. They're in Africa. It crashes like after 30 minutes, right? They kill off one of the women that was in the group because they didn't have a script for her. They didn't have words for her to say. So she dies on impact. CGI plane breaks apart. The wife is injured, like her leg is pinned and she's injured and she can't really, she can't walk. So the doctor's like, all right, I'm gonna stay here with my wife. We're gonna pray about it to be saved, because we're Christians. That's the theme for these people. Anyway, the pilot is like, we can't stay here. This is the reserve. And then they're like, the reserve for, he's like, big game hunting, lions and hyenas and stuff. When it gets dark, that's when they come out. So you might want to move. But, the Christians, they're like, we can't leave. I'm staying here with my wife and we're going to pray about it. Anyway, everybody else goes with the pilot. The pilot's like, if we go east or whatever, there's a village over there, we're going to be fine. They don't have that much water. They started walking and it was supposed to be like this reserve, right? African reserve. All of a sudden, it just looked like the desert. Out of nowhere. It was just, it was the desert. It looked like Dune. They were just in the desert. They went the wrong way, right? So one dude got mad, took the gun from the pilot, was like, we went the wrong way. We should have went the other way. I told you. We're going this way. And then the pilot's like, we got to go back to the plane. And then we go the other way and we'll find the village. And he was like, nah, I'm out. So he left, right? The guy with the gun leaves. So then the pilot and rich kid, douchebag, and the black guy, because, you got to have a black guy in these type of movies. They go back to the doctor, right? And, you hear growls because they couldn't afford to, like, have the lions and humans on screen at the same time, with the budget, whatever. So when they go back, they just see blood. And apparently the lion ate the wife. And the husband, I don't know, he ran or something. And he was so upset. He was like, I couldn't save her. It's your fault. You killed her. Whatever. So they go back. They have the CGI plane, and the pilot is like, hey, there's space in the cockpit, but only for 2, maybe 3. So we might have to flip on it, right? So the rich kid loses, and he has to stay outside while the other 3 go in the cockpit because there's a lock on it. And they like, it's dark, so we got to survive the night, and then we're going to make our way to the village. They go into the cockpit, and then the rich kid has the fire going, and like he's falling asleep. And the guy's like, don't fall asleep. Got to keep the fire going. Keep the lines away, right? And like the best shot of the whole movie, right, is it's shot behind the rich kid, and you see him dozing off, and the fire is going out, and then like all these eyes just pop up. Well, it was 6 eyes, so it was 3 lines, right? And then next thing you know, you just hear him screaming, ah, because they never show any of the kills because they can't afford to. Anyway, so the people in the cockpit is like the doctor, because he's a Christian and he's all about saving people. He's like, we got to do something. It's 3 lions outside. What are you gonna do? So he's like, we should go out there, and he tries to open the door. They're like, no. And then the only shot we really get of a lion and people is there. And then fast forward, the guy's dead. So and then the snake bites the black guy, right? And then the doctor does some thing and gets the venom out of him. So the black guy's hurt. And now they're on their way to the village. They start walking, and then here comes this militia gang. It was only 3 people. They could only afford 3 people. And they got guns. So they are making fun of them, trying to see what they're about. Turns out that the pilot was smuggling like rhino horns and stuff. So that's why everybody couldn't bring their luggage on. And, the militia gang was very upset about that. So the gang leader just leaves. He's like, watch them. I'll be back. I don't know where he went. He just took the truck and left. Anyway, so then now it's the 2 militia people with guns and the pilot and the doctor. And they're just sitting there. Like, they're just sitting there. And eventually, the people with the guns fall asleep. So the pilot is like, I'm not dying like this. And he goes up to the guy with the gun, and the guy wakes up, and the gun jams. So then they fight. And then the other guy with the gun is about to shoot, and the doctor comes and somehow angles the gun, and both of them get shot. This is the movie. This is the action thriller movie that we're talking about. They eventually make it up some rock, right? And he's like, look, the village is right there. But the 3 lions, they show up. And one lion has red on his face. So he's the one who ate the person last time. The other lions don't have anything because that lion's greedy. He's eating everything. He's like, we can't move yet. It looked like they were on some rock really high. But I don't know if the lion could have just walked around. But he was very nervous about walking. It felt like if he walked away, the lion wouldn't be able to see him because he's on a rock all the way up there. Anyway, the pilot, who's been a douchebag the entire movie, has slowly had a character arc. And now he's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself so you can make it to the village. And then he jumps on the rock and he's like, ah. And he CGI jumps down from some rocks. The lion is not even there. And then all of a sudden he falls. And then they show the point of view and it's a lion coming. Because they can't show the lion and the human on screen at the same time. So then the doctor gets up. He was hurt. But all of a sudden he gets up. And he's walking. And then you hear the hyenas laughing. Just like in Lion King. With Ed. That's how the hyenas were laughing. It was just, I don't know. So he looks. And he grabs a stick. And he was like, I'm going to go through you guys or whatever. And this is the end of the movie. This is towards the end of the movie, right? So then he runs, right, at the hyenas on a messed up leg. And lightning strikes on the ground between them because God, that was the miracle. And then it starts raining. And he just passes out and he starts hearing his name being called. And he sees his wife in all white with her cross because, yeah, they're Christians. And then some people from the village call his name, some black guy we seen earlier in the movie, he's rescued. I tell you all of this. Yes, this is the movie. This is a spoiler review, so you don't watch this movie. Do not click play. It's gonna pop up on Hulu when you turn it on, brand new, it's ranked number 2 or whatever. No, it's not. It's bad. Do not watch this movie. I told you the whole movie, so you do not watch this movie. Just don't. These are my thoughts. The movie is terrible. Don't watch it. If you did watch it, if you managed to watch it before you watched this review, I'm sorry. But let me know what you thought about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.